I woke up sometime later in a daze. As I looked around, I realized I was back in my room. My body hurt and felt off, like a ton of bricks were being placed onto me. I tried to move, but unbearable pain shot through my body. I slowly sat up in my bed and looked around and checked out my body. From what I could tell, I had no cuts or bruises. Even the injuries I got from the crash were gone. I had a faint aftertaste of blood in my mouth. But when I felt around with my tongue, I came across no injuries. As I laid there, my door slowly opened and my mother came in with a small box in her arms. Her face a smile as she approached my bed. I was generally scared as I thought she was going to punish me for what I did. She sat at the foot of my bed with a smile on her face still and placed the box on my bed. "How are you holding up, dear?" she asked while looking me dead in my eyes. Her light blue eyes once gave me joy to look at, but now only gives me fear and terror. I still can't look at my parents the same. I always thought I knew them, but I guess I was wrong. Before she could open her mouth again, I finally spoke up. Why? I had to try asking her. Just wanted to know why. But don't worry about that, hun. Before she could finish, I interrupted her. No! Tell me why. Why would you do that to Keith? He did nothing to you. He just wanted to help me. I tried so hard not to cry, but I felt the tears forming in my eyes. Honey, you have to understand we couldn't let him leave after what you told him. If he would have told someone our secret, not only they would kill us, but they would kill you too. And I couldn't just stand by and let someone endanger my baby or my family. As she talked, her attention shifted from me to the small box she came in with. What do you mean, kill me? It's not like I'm nothing like you monsters. I would never hurt another human being, I said as I felt my body slowly starting to shake uncontrollably. She sighed and placed her hands in her face for about 10 to 15 seconds before reaching for my hand. Please, we're only doing this for you, baby, to keep you safe. You're the next generation, after all, she said while smiling. For a second, I was shocked and scared at what she said. My chest was heavy, like a million bricks were placed onto me. I felt my mouth tremble as the tears started back up. What? I said, choking over my words. My body tensed up and started shaking by itself. I wasn't like them. I'm not like them. I'm regular. She giggled for a little bit before answering my poorly worded question. She looked remorseful, but was she really? I really didn't want you finding out the way you did, but you're one of us. Always have been, always will be. Just take a look at your body. See no injuries, right? No normal human can recover from those injuries that quick. Well, you did have help. As she spoke, she reached out and grabbed my hand and held it tight. I tried pulling my hand back, but she had a grip already. This may sting a little, honey. Before I could say or do anything, one of her claws came out of her fake skin and dragged the claw against my hand. As I tried pulling away from the pain, black liquid oozed from my hand and dripped onto the bed. As she let go, she cut her hand and black liquid poured from her hand. I clenched my hand as she wrapped it up. I didn't know humans could bleed black blood, she said while licking up the black liquid off her hand. She reached out for my hand and pulled the cloth off to reveal no sign of where she cut me. It was gone, like it never happened. Like my other injuries, it was healed. See, no human could heal that quick. And it's all thanks to this, hun. As she reached into her pocket, I felt sick to my stomach. In a small plastic bag was a small chunk of what seemed to be a liver. I placed my hand over my mouth and started dry heaving. My stomach felt like it was in twisted knots, and I wouldn't need another human. I couldn't even do it if I had to. Stop being such a drama queen. It's not all that bad. But I think it's time for you to know the truth. This was a family curse passed down generation to generation. I can't remember how the curse started, but old family stories said that witchcraft was involved with this family curse. She said it as if it was a normal topic you talk with your friends about. As she reached for the box, I couldn't help get the taste of blood out of my mouth. As she opens up the box, she pulled out multiple photos and sat them down on the bed. It was all pictures of black, bony humanoids of all shapes and sizes standing or eating mutilated corpses. My hands began shaking uncontrollably as I saw a picture of a bony humanoid with long, sharp claws next to a dead woman with her face skin completely ripped off. Is that you? I was so horrified to speak properly. Everything that has happened to me since I woke up has scared and terrified me. She nodded her head as she gathered all the pictures up and placed them back into the box and closed it up. Don't worry, you'll have your picture in this family box by tonight. Your father and I decided that you're ready for your first kill. Think of it as a family tradition. Everyone in our family had their first kill captured and saved for generations to see how long our family was around. As she said that, my heart started beating faster and my chest tightened up more. She stood up and walked toward the door. Before leaving, she turned and gave me a half smile. We'll be ready in an hour, hun, so do whatever you want until then. Let's see how long you can last, Miss Human. As she left, I didn't know what to do. I felt helpless. I was helpless. I could do nothing but cry, crying like a baby. I couldn't kill someone, and I wouldn't. After some time passed, my door slowly opened and it was my mother, still with a smile on her face. It's time. It's time for you to get your first kill and continue the family tradition. Her smile grew as she motioned for me to follow her. I slowly started shaking my head as the tears filled my eyes. She walked over towards me and grabbed my arm and pulled me along with her. As she led me to the room where I found out my parents were monsters. We walked in, and my father stood with a camera in his hands. As I looked over at the table, my stomach dropped. A man laid strapped to the table, struggling and squirming around in his restraints. My mother pushed me toward the table and stood by father with a big grin on her face. Go ahead, honey, make us proud parents. As she spoke, I wanted to run. I wanted to run far away from here, but I couldn't. If I did, I would just get people killed again. No, I'm not going to do it. You can't make me, I said while backing away from the table. My mother sighed heavily as she approached. You caused this. As her claws came out, she slashed the man's chest, drawing blood instantly. The man screamed out in pain as my mother smiled wide. What? As I tried talking, a strong urge overcame me. I tried to resist, but the smell was just so calming. As I walked toward the table, my vision got blurry and I eventually blacked out. All I could remember was screaming and cheering. As I came to, I had a strong taste of blood in my mouth, and as I looked around, blood was all over the floor. My mother came over and gave me a big hug. My mother came over to me and gave me a hug. You did it, baby. A little sloppy, but we can work on that. As I felt around, I noticed I couldn't feel my hands. I looked down and almost passed out. My skin was gone. There in its place was dark bone. I blame them. They made me kill him. I didn't want to. But it felt so good.